Hey everyone, welcome to the eighth episode of Growth Show. It's really excited to have you all here today. And today's topic is something quite interesting because this is something every marketer wants to talk about, but silently does not want to talk about it. They just think they're doing it right and walk away. Attribution, LinkedIn attribution is something that all of us are dealing with in the marketing community and needs to be talked about. And that's where we got the best guest today. Before introducing her, I want to give a quick brief on PipeRocket and Growth Show. PipeRocket is a B2B SaaS startup based out of India. We have 50 plus clients across different B2B SaaS brands, and we help companies build scalable growth engines. If you have any doubts about marketing, if you want to build your paid efforts, SEO efforts, we are always here for you. So you can always reach out to us. And Growth is our initiative of giving back to the community of marketers, where we bring in a lot of B2B marketing minds, practitioners in one place, and let the community grow together. Now, coming to today's guest, Daryna, when we were researching about the guest for today's topic, we came across Daryna from Berlin, and she was a perfect fit. She's the growth and marketing manager at Mercanis in Berlin. What she's building at Mercanis is something unique because it's a B2B SaaS procurement intelligence software platform where your end users are not marketers, they are finance, procurement, and supplier heads. So you have to understand the complete buyer journey, nurture them, understand every touch point, and LinkedIn is something they are not familiar with at all. So using LinkedIn just not as a brand awareness channel, but also as a revenue driver is something that has accomplished there, building the growth funnel, LinkedIn funnel, full system from ground up. That's what was very interesting, and we got her in. So I don't want to take more of your time. Dana, it's up to you. Please get started with the session, and we'll have interesting live Q&A at the end. Over to you, Dan.
Share your questions and let's start it. Before I dive in, I would be really curious to know of those of you who are already working with LinkedIn ads, what are your average budgets? Could you tell me? Otherwise, I will just talk from my own experience. Okay, I don't see anyone in the chat yet, so I will just talk from my own experience then. So I've been working with LinkedIn for more than 7 years now, and I've seen this platform evolve greatly throughout this time. But normally, when it comes to LinkedIn, especially when it comes to actually paying LinkedIn as an ad platform, not just creating organic reach there, the question is always that it's very expensive. So in my experience, the average budget I was able to wrestle is around 10 to 15K per month, and this is a good solid budget. I've been working with something around 5K per month, even 4K per month. Currently, when we are on this really successful LinkedIn loop, we're able to afford 25, 30, 50K per month. But in my experience, 10 to 15 is something more or less realistic. And average cost per click is around 10 to 15 dollars. In this kind of situation, you're normally either using what you already know is working all right for you. So, for example, we are normally using, in my experience, basically the lead gen campaigns. We are running webinars, we're running white papers to download, we are running product demos and product campaigns where people can actually go to the website and book a demo, because obviously you think, all right, if the average cost per click is $15, I have to make every click count, right? And then you choose the kind of format that feels safe for this amount of investment. And it works fine. Those kind of campaigns work fine, but they always leave you a little bit blindsided. So first of all, if we're talking about lead campaigns, you gather all of these webinar leads or white paper leads, you pass them to sales, and then sales might have used some of those leads. You have no control or normally after you pass them to sales, right? And then they add another stakeholder to from this company, and from this another stakeholder they create a deal, and this webinar lead that you created for them gets lost. And it's even worse if you're running brand campaigns, right? So then you're targeting reach and engagement, and all you can see probably is amount of companies, some companies that engaged with your campaigns, and you cannot see this very well through the LinkedIn's native means. And you just can see amount of reach engagement, and then you calculate. But in this situation, it's very hard to actually prove that this helped you close the deals. So when we're talking about B2B, we know that the average deal cycle is super long. And here you can see some of the benchmark data from Dream Data, the amazing company that actually doing this kind of multi-touch attribution for LinkedIn. I'm not promoting them, I'm not using them at the moment, but they did have a very good report. I recommend you to read it. So they researched how an average B2B journey looks like, and how average business buyers behave when they're buying software or when they're buying services. And I'm always trying to be data first person. So for me, it's always important to double check all of those benchmarks. So I also ran a similar search throughout my recent projects, and for me, it pretty much amounted to the same. And I think if you work with LinkedIn, you pretty much have the same understanding. If you work in B2B, you have the same understanding that your sales cycles are pretty long, and some time might pass from the moment you engage the company to when they actually convert. So even before this Dream Data report a couple of years ago, I was already thinking, all right, how else can we make LinkedIn really work? Because I was a firm believer that it can be much more effective than just a lead gen layer or a brand layer in itself. And thankfully, it's about the time when on the market a huge amount of tools started popping up that allowed to create this multi-touch attribution for LinkedIn. So there is Fibbler, there is Dream Data, there is, I think, Hockey Stack and some more. So at least I know at least 5 or 6 tools like this that do this. Again, I'm not advertising for a specific one. Currently, we're using Fibbler in my company. So what all of these tools let you do, they let you track every engagement, be that organic or paid within LinkedIn. They give this engagement to you via API, LinkedIn's API, something that is super hard to get for yourself as a company, because like I know a lot of marketers in B2C field, and if it's a big B2C company, for example, they have their own data lake, they have this multi-touch attribution and huge amount of data to work with on a regular basis. In B2B, we normally do not have that much data. We have buyers that might, for example, in Mercanis, our average deal is around 100,000. So you can imagine that we do not have that many of those buyers, and every click, every interaction with these buyers counts. So those kind of tools, they allow you to track everything, and I can show you just a couple of examples from my own experience. So all of those 3 companies were the companies for which our HubSpot, our DSM CRM system attributed as offline. So basically what happened, at some point, a salesperson picked up the phone, called the company engaged, said, okay, we're ready for the demo. And this company went into the sales cycle as the offline deal, basically deal created by sales. But what actually happened underneath all that is a lot of work done by marketing. So a lot of impressions, a lot of engagements, and a lot of warm up being built months upon months upon months that resulted into that positive call. Because otherwise, the person on the phone would be probably thinking, okay, what is Mercanis? We don't know this company. And this is how an average deal in my pipeline looks like. You can see that there is a deal that started somewhere in April. I mean, it started for me as a marketer in April, because this is when we started targeting this company with first paid impressions, and at first was just impressions. Just impressions until February 26th, when they finally visited our our Mercanis LinkedIn page, when engaged with the page. They probably got this call, and after that, it just came flying upsell after upsell. And as you see here, we keep engaging them, we keep showing them ads, even after the deal was created, because for us it's important not to just warm them up for the decision. For us it's also important to uh, help sales actually close the deal, and help sales then make an upsell. So we are even showing the ads to our existing customers. Those are different kinds of ads, of course, not the ones that we are showing to our clients. So those are probably more related to our product updates, or some tips, or some case studies. So we are trying to make sure that they're always certain that they made the right choice even after they signed the deal. And these tools work pretty simple. You basically just have a pixel. You connect it to your LinkedIn account. You connect it to your CRM, and it lets you add this attribution layer on top, which you can use within the system, or you can also export it. For example, one of the ways we're using it not to just get the data for our LinkedIn campaigns, but to actually we're sort of trying to run a little bit like ABM motion with it. So every time we see that our LinkedIn ads created a certain amount of impressions, and we can clarify these ads as like hot leads. I'm sorry, not ads, but contacts, companies as hot leads. We pass those companies directly to sales. We have an integration that directly passes it into our Teams channel, because we're using Teams at work, which is the horror, but it's another story. And basically every Monday morning, our sales can open the channel, see the companies that engage with our ads, and basically they know already about Mercanis, and then they can either enrich the contacts and try to call them directly, or send their outreach campaigns that are then obviously more effective than when they're reaching out just the cold audience. Another way we work with this is I'm going to switch quickly to chat. I see no questions here, right, so far?
No, Daryna, good. There are no questions. You can continue. We can answer questions at the end.
All right. I hope it's a good sign.
It's a good thing. People are focused on the session.
All right. I trust your experience on this.
Yeah.
So another way we are working with this information is that we are passing it directly to back to LinkedIn. So we get the list of companies that engage with our LinkedIn ads, and also with these tools we can also get companies that engage with our organic content. So this is not only specific to ads. And then we see how many of those companies, what is the percentage that is actually matching our ICP. Because even if we're using custom lists for LinkedIn, even if we're using all kinds of narrowing down on the demographics, filtering when we're setting up the campaigns, we cannot guarantee that LinkedIn will target our ICP audience. It happens, in my experience, even with a lot of tweaking and a lot of custom lists and a lot of back and forth passing the conversions to LinkedIn, we see around 70% accuracy on our ICP. So what we do with this, we directly pass this back to LinkedIn. We're saying, okay, those companies are not ICP. We do not want them to engage with our content anymore. And this way, we're also cutting the wasted spend this way. So being able to see every company and every kind of engagement on every ad, on every post, really helps to be very smart about what you do with LinkedIn. And you might wonder that, okay, this sounds like a really cool thing, right? But oh my God. But if my mouse went crazy. I'm so sorry. I'm showing you some spoilers right now. Here it is. When we're using this kind of tools, normally what it does, it lets you choose by yourself the kind of what you understand by influence on your deal, right? So, for example, the recommended in Fibler right now, I'm looking at it, it's paid impressions that are around 7 or 8 impressions, and organic impressions is more than 3. And you might say, okay, who says that this is right? And this might not be accurate. And that's true. Normally, what we would do when we're trying to set up this kind of setup, and when we're trying to work with this kind of tools, we measure our own average amount of impressions, and we're trying to understand how many impressions we normally get on the account. And you can already see this when you connect to the tool. You can already see your stats, and you can then empirically choose it for yourself and try to test, and then you can always change it. And to prove that this kind of attribution actually works, I have a good example here. So I have, by chance, a 8 months of agency-led account, which was set up exactly in the way I'm describing. The agency was running webinars and white paper campaigns for us. They were very effective. There were lots of leads coming up from those campaigns. They were not bad quality. The spend was within what we agreed with them, so everything was fine. But then when I got a hold of our account and we fired the agency, I was changing the way we're working with the campaign. And after 8, now it says 6, but I actually have 8 months of data now. After some months of testing, I applied the same attribution model to what the agency did versus what I did. And you can see the results. You can see that actually my approach worked much better, and it created in the end more pipeline with less spend, with more companies engaged, with better engagement rate, with cheaper CPM, and with drastically lowered cost per opportunity. So what I did that was different from what the agency did. So when you have this kind of attribution where you can see every click and every engagement, and not just last attribution where you can only see when people converted, you can stop thinking about leading people out of LinkedIn, and you can actually think about how to just engage them and how to fight for their attention and give them value and tell the story about your company. So we completely restructured our budget. Before it was just focused on basically a lead gen layer. And we pulled 50% of spend into brand. The brand campaigns for us are thought leadership ads where we choose a champions from our own team. In Mercanis right now, it's our founders, our engineering lead, our customer success, and we're just promoting the post that those people write. Sometimes we write posts for them, sometimes they just have organic passive posts that we can promote. And we're very aggressively pushing those posts onto the wide audience within our ICP target. Then, after we build this audience and we warm this audience up and we see this engagement with the audience, uh, we use the retargeting list from LinkedIn. So we're building the list within LinkedIn to show them our material. So we are showing them webinars, we're showing them white papers, we're showing them case studies on this layer. And we're showing this only to people who already engaged a lot with our brand ads. And then if they are already downloaded something, if they are already in our list, then we are also showing them retargeting ads. Sometimes it's case studies, mostly it's product ads that are more specific about how our product can help them, because we can then see, all right, in our pool, there are certain type of companies, for example, those are uh, pharma companies, and for pharma companies, there is a specific procurement set of pains that we can show them, and then we can be very smart and very granular of what kind of retargeting content we deliver them, and this retargeting content then uh, converts very cheaply for us. But honestly, we're not even trying to convert them into the retargeting layer. We're trying to just retain their attention and just educate them about Mercanis, about our company. And this works because, as you've probably seen a lot on the slide before, and you probably also experienced this from in your own companies. In a B2B, you probably have a whole number of stakeholders in your account. So uh, I normally have around 7 people in the company that are decision makers that will be involved in the process. And the most important part is not that all of the 7 people download a white paper, but that all of the 7 people know what Mercanis is, understand the value that we can offer, and just feel happy about going along the sales process, and feel happy and informed about what they're actually getting into before they're making a decision. And we always joke that if you're buying a tool like Canva, nobody's gonna fire you. But if you're buying a procurement software and you're buying a shitty one, then your career is at stake. So for this kind of pressure in the decision-making process, we see that it's extremely valuable to communicate value without leading people away from LinkedIn at all. So we're not using any campaigns, any ads that are leading people to our website. If we're talking about thought leader ads, like on this slide, for example, we are just pushing ideas or showing people in video, showing our founders why they founded the company, what the coolest things people tell about our company. We might show recap from the event. We might show our happy customer. We never lead away. In the warm-up layer, when we are working with leads and white papers and webinars, we use LinkedIn forms. We're not pulling people to our website. In the retargeting layer, we also either use legion forms or an ability to schedule a demo right from LinkedIn. And all of this works exactly because we can still see all of the journey, and we can be sure that we can control all of this journey. So A little bit about our best performing format, brand ads, thought leadership ads. You can see here a classic example. This ad in particular has a CTR of 10.4, which is, if you work with LinkedIn, you know it's pretty high. No, normally it's I think around 4 or 5. So as you see, there is nothing magical about it. It's just a normal post from our founder. And if you might think that, okay, you need a famous people, or you need to have a very good accounts to create this kind of layer and run this kind of ads, I can tell you right away that you don't have to. When we started with this layer, we started it specifically for UK market. And for UK market, we had zero visibility on Mercanis. We had zero, nobody knew who is Fabian Heinrich is, our co-founder. To start the promotion, I actually promoted some of his posts because normally he's writing in German. So from 6 or 12 months ago, just because I had troubles finding the posts that were in English for him. And this was the test layer for us. And it worked. It worked because, especially now on LinkedIn, with all kinds of AI slop, people are just hungry for proper communication. People are hungry to see normal faces, to read nice ideas. And most of our videos that we are also pushing in the thought leadership ads are just shot by normal iPhone. We're not doing some multi-layered content production. We're not employing videographers, operators to film the videos. We're just quickly find a nice corner in our office, find an iPhone and film, and that's it. And those videos actually work, and those kind of thought leadership posts actually work. And what was interesting for me, since I'm also mostly working with ads, not not so used to promoting other people's content, just like organic content, that for us the best performing format for thought leadership content is not a video and not a post with image, but just those kinds of plain no image posts, because they just feel more human, I guess. Regarding the warm-up layer, LinkedIn grows a lot, and I've seen a lot of changes every couple of months. And recently, one of the best formats, like best changes they've made, and actually the best formats that I can recommend for warm-up layer, is native document ads. We've been having a huge success with those. They outperform any kind of other format that we've been running so far, aside for the brand ads. And they first of all give people an ability to already see a little bit of the content that they're gonna get if they sign up, because you can have them preview a little bit, a couple of pages, or even the whole document if you want. They stand out in the feed a lot, and coupled with Legion forms, we've seen an amazing engagement rate, and they have very cheap CPM and very cheap cost per click from those ads. So for the warm-up layer, when we really want to get that person's contact information, this is my best recommendation what to do at the moment on LinkedIn, until everyone's doing it, and until it's already getting old. It's a good opportunity to jump on native document ads and get some campaigns running. So another good insight that I can share regarding campaigns overall, especially if you're running this like multi-layer type of campaign structure that I mentioned, when you have brand layer, you have a brand warm-up layer, and when you have a retargeting layer, is to use the campaign, the ad formats sparingly. One example that I can give right away is conversation ads. Those ads worked wonders for us in webinars, but they can also feel very intrusive. And if you already invited people into one webinar using conversation and then you had amazing results with those, doesn't mean that the second time you run this conversation ads to the same audience, you will get the same results because you already invited them once. So my experience, it's always nice to rotate all of the formats that you're using. So if you feel that you've been using quite a lot of single image ads, nothing wrong with them. They are the working horse of LinkedIn. If you've been using them a lot, try to think, okay, what other formats you can switch for a while, just so you add more variety, just so you battle a little bit of the ad fatigue. And if we're talking about building all of those three layers, it can accumulate to a lot of ad fatigue because you are literally trying to show your ads everywhere. So our idea is that people should be able to see posts from our founders. They should be able to see us on the right side in text ads. They should be able to see us in the feed with our documents, and then they should also be able to see our single image ads for the retargeting layer. So this is a lot of content and a lot of ads. So it pays to rotate them sparingly. And if you're using already a specific format for one layer, try not to reuse it to another for another. I've seen that this really hurts the results. It feels sometimes a little bit wrong to spend so much budget on the brand ads and not on the retargeting ads, for example, not on the legion ads. I've also asked our LinkedIn account manager to share some of the competitor data with us, and I've tried to understand what are their budgets, what is their average engagement, and the results were actually pretty interesting because none of those competitors that are in our niche also are active on LinkedIn, that none of them are using the same structure that I'm describing here. None of them are trying to have a brand layer, a warm-up layer, and a retargeting layer. All of them are just pretty much either running the legion campaigns, like I said in the start, or they are running the retargeting ads, and that's it. And even though they have much higher budget than us, as you see, you can probably see here, the median spend is 9x of ours. So there is 89% budget gap between us, so we are on the lower side of this gap, and our competitors who are large enterprises, and obviously they can afford this kind of budget. So we cannot afford this kind of budget, and we have to be smart. But actually, using this approach, we were able to have much more engagement, much more clicks. We've been able to actually push ahead of our competitors, created brand awareness even on the market where nobody knew us. For us, it's UK because we're a German company. Create us a very, very good, steady pipeline out of it. I already actually talked about this, so I will just skip this slide. And I hope you're not too tired of me talking. I am actually a little bit tired already. I still want to give some tips at the end. I promise that I'm almost done speaking. And just to recap a little bit what I said. Some of the metrics that you might use to actually report on, because if you're not using the last click attribution, if you're trying to build this kind of multi-touch attribution, you will get questions from sales and from finance. So for us, what we always attribute on is obviously impression and reach, but we bundle it as companies reached and companies engaged from our ICP. So we're not just saying, okay, just this is an amount of overall impressions we created on LinkedIn. No, we're saying that, okay, this is our target list. We reached those specific companies in our target list, and this is our average reach and our average engagement from these companies. Obviously, we're also tracking CTR per company. We're tracking cost per lead and cost per opportunity, and we're tracking follower growth. So another metric that is very easy to neglect is how many people actually engaging back with your LinkedIn page or with your thought leaders. And for us, we've seen that this is a super important metric because, for example, people literally engage with Fabian's, our co-founder's post, then they write him directly a message on LinkedIn to ask for a demo, and that's it. And those kinds of warm intros directly to the founder, they are very hard to track, but you can always report on follower growth. You can always report on conversations started from LinkedIn, and this is something that you can show your finance and your sales and report on. To my team lead and to my founders, I normally report on those every month. You can just copy it. I hope it can be valuable for you as well. So I always report average spend, target companies engaged, new opportunities influenced, cost per opportunity, amount of influenced pipeline, and my most happy metric, of course, how many of the closed ones were influenced. Obviously, it takes some time to accumulate this data, but once they actually see that LinkedIn helps closing, not just generating a pipeline, then normally people are much more on board to spend more on LinkedIn and give you more creative freedom in terms of content and in terms of overall LinkedIn management. So if I was to start a campaign like this again, or if you were to start, it would be super easy. You would just need 1-2 weeks to research your tools, find the best one that works for you, that works with this CRM system that just is in your price range. Normally, they're not very expensive, but everyone has different budgets. Setting up the tracking, conversions API, all of them, making sure all of the attributions are working, that your ICPs lists are in LinkedIn, that conversions are set. Then for next 3 weeks, run just the brand layer, just the brand without anything else, and see how people react and perform. And the beauty of this, that even if you are hesitating right now, and even if you are very, very tight on budget, normally the brand layer is very cheap to run. For us, the average cost per click on the brand layer is somewhere around 40 cents. So compared to normal cost per click in LinkedIn, around $15, 40 cents is nothing, right? And this is because those kinds of formats basically for engagement, and you do not really spend that much on them in the end, but they can already tell you if you are doing a good job there, if the content you're pushing is resonating with your audience, if you can really build up that pool of engaged companies fast enough. Obviously, you do not want to spend ages on that because your audience can also be maybe too narrow or, for example, too wide. So after this 3 weeks, and you're confident that your brand layer is working, you can start to work with the warm-up layer. You can start trying to convert the people who already engaged with your content and is in your retargeting list on LinkedIn with your format of your choosing. And then, only then, when you see that the engagement is good, you push on them the final retargeting layer. I guess this is it from my side. Some 5 things for you to take home. I'm pretty sure you will already see them in your presentation. So maybe I can just start with asking questions and then we can have a real conversation. What do you think?
Thank you, Daryna. That was a powerful session, and I know there was a lot of information, and these are the ones that you don't get anywhere outside in one place. So that's a good thing. I have few questions that I already got at the start of the session, during the session, but I'm just going to let people drop their questions in the chat now. Team, you can take the next 5 minutes to drop your questions, or if you want to talk to Daryna directly, just raise your hand and I can unmute you, anything that works. She can answer your questions directly too. In the meantime, I'm going to drop the questions that we got for you, Daryna. You can check the chat. I can also read it to you if you want.
Okay, yeah, looking forward.
Okay, this was one question we got during registration.
Yes, so I will probably read it out loud, right? the best.
I can read that too. No worries. You're based in Berlin, selling into a European market. Does LinkedIn behave differently as a B2B channel in Europe compared to what you see in US focused marketers talking about, or is the playbook essentially the same?
I would say that there is no big difference. I'm right now I'm focused on the European markets, but I also ran a lot of campaigns for US and also LATAM, so pretty much around the world. And I haven't seen a big difference in this kind of approach. The only difference I can probably name is that when it comes to specific ad formats, for example, to emails or to conversation ads, then in my experience, people from US markets are more, they have a more positive opinion for those ads and they treat them less as a spam, I would say. Well, when you're working on the European markets and you're trying to send people an email, they might really grumble about it, I would say. It still works if it can still be done in a graceful and correct manner, but people are really getting tired of getting those. And in my experience, the European audience is more sensitive about that data and about being directly messaged on LinkedIn. And this is why exactly for them, this kind of non-intrusive, non-clicking away approach with normal ads, single image ads, video ads, and just plain text ads on the side is working maybe a little bit more effectively. But aside for some specific formats, I can't say that I've seen a huge difference using this approach.
The next question is about most attribution tools will tell you a lead came from LinkedIn, but not which specific piece of content, which campaign, or which touch point. How do you address blind spots?
I'm curious what kind of tools you've been using, because actually the tools that I'm naming here, both Fibler and Dream Data, for example, they can tell you the data specifically to the post that people engaged with. So you can see everything from campaign to ad set to specific creative. So it hasn't been a problem in my experience. I would say that this is a problem of just using the right tool for this specific purpose.
Okay, you can answer this one question and then we can wrap it up and we can take other questions on email. And I'm going to drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat also so people can reach out to you. One question is about the importance of your LinkedIn and your CRM going hand in hand. In most cases, your LinkedIn data says one thing and the CRM says another thing. How do you address that difference, or you can share it from your experience also? That was one more question.
Right. So normally, and actually, there is one point that I see in the previous answer that I probably didn't answer well yet. Is that the most important part is to connect all of this data together. So normally, if you're using a good tool for this kind of setup, again, I don't want to advertise some specific tools, right? Because we're not here for that. So I'm trying to be very vague about them. So if you're using a specific tool, get all of your data from LinkedIn, you can then either build a dashboard on which you will see how all of this data from LinkedIn is connecting to every specific company into your CRM, or in some specific cases, for example, we're using HubSpot. It's a very popular CRM system. So naturally, all of these tools, they already have integrations that get you an ability to import all of this data up to every post engagement into HubSpot, into your account, into your so basically each account, each targeted account that can be a deal, already has this data inside the CRM system. And then when you have all of this data aligned in one place, it's very easy to build the reports and draw conclusions from this. And maybe I want to quickly just address from the previous question the part about how to know which touch point actually moved them. And this is something that we're trying consciously not to dig into, instead, we are looking at average influence for the account. So basically, if we have a company that we're targeting on LinkedIn and we're showing them all kinds of ads in all kinds of layers and all kinds of ad formats, then we're calculating the average, how much of this all action resulted into us getting or closing the deal. Uh, Now then, of course, within the account, we can see that, okay, maybe out of all of the segments, brand layer like had the most influence on the account. But I would say that this is not a very straightforward thing to focus on, because obviously, first of all, brand layer had best budget. Brand layer is working towards this engagement, so this is what we want to get from it. And obviously, if we're talking about, for example, lead gen campaigns, they contributed less to this specific company, right? So we're trying, instead of granularly searching for which kind of campaign made the influence possible, we calculate them as a whole. And then for overall reporting, this is fine. For our own reporting, we of course see, okay, which of our brand ads work the best. If this ads work the best, probably there is a nice hook or nice content, we can reuse it. So obviously for ourselves, in the marketing team, we then dissect all of this closer. But on the business layer, I would say we do not try to fight for which campaign actually influenced it, because we see that all of the LinkedIn is the influence. I hope.
That's really good. Thank you, Daryna. We have reached the end of the session. And for everyone who has joined us today, thank you. And we have dropped some important links in the chat. We have Daryna's LinkedIn profile. If you want to have a good chat about LinkedIn attribution, or you want to learn, you want to question, you want to know more about it, you can always reach out to her directly, or you can let us know and we can set up some time with her. And we have also dropped our founders Praveen and Kim's profile. If you want to know more about how PipeRocket can help you, we have a contact us registration form also in the chat. And if you want to be part of our future sessions, and if you want to be part of our other important initiatives I've dropped the community forum also for your reference. We have another sessions coming up at the end of July and next month also. And this is not the last time we're going to have Daryna. We'll have more of our sessions in the upcoming days. So if you want to talk to Daryna about something specific, or if you wanted to address any specific topic as a follow-up session of today's session, please let us know and we'll get it set up. Thanks, Daryna, for doing this in spite of feeling a bit under the weather. We did not know that at all. It was really good session from starting to end. I think people will need some time to go back, process all the information, and they're going to refer the recording and deck also later. So thank you so much for today. Have a great evening.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, feel free to reach me with any questions directly.
Thank you all. Thank you, folks.